Right, so you're on a dating app because it's 2019 and how the fuck else are you supposed to meet anybody? Because we're millennials, we didn't fucking go out, do we? So you met someone online and you're talking to them for 2 years! Two. Probably more, but we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. 2 years, right? And you understand that your schedule is hectic and you've been in and out of the country for the past year and a half, and you know, right? I get it. Now, let's say that said person says, oh, you know, we should hang out sometime. And you say, right, okay, that's fine. You try to make plans and you suggest a day and they say, oh, I'm not free that day. And you say, okay, well, how about next day? And they say, not sure about that. So then you skip ahead like 5 days and you say, okay, right, so how about next week? And they say, right, maybe, that might work. In the interim, you're sitting there and you've basically just become one of their snap streaks. And you're just somebody that they send a random Snapchat to every single morning. And the only snaps that you get are also put on their fucking story. So then, as time goes on, you check in and you say, hey, do you still want to hang out next week? And they say, oh, I still don't know if I'm free. Right, okay, so you say, keep me posted. It's a normal thing to do. So, a few days later, you check in again and you say, hey, so do you want to hang out tomorrow? And they say, oh, I don't know if I'm free, I'll let you know in the morning. The morning comes and you get ghosted. Ghosted. But you're not ghosted enough to the point where they completely don't send you your good morning snap and every other snap story, that thing that's being posted on their snap story. No, not at all. You're finding out they're actually hanging out with their own mates at their own place and you just weren't invited. Right. How many times does that have to happen before you say, fuck you? I'm too nice of a person, so I keep putting up with it, right? And in the meantime, I get messages that are like, oh, well, I'm sorry, like, you don't plan far enough in advance and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, alright, I plan a week in advance with you. A week in advance with you. Right? And they still can't tell me. And you say, maybe I'm free. Maybe I'm gonna have time for you. But they never actually tell you, do they? So you just sit around at home, sitting on your arse, and not doing anything. Because you didn't tell me if you're free. Right. So you stop responding to their snap streaks. So they start to notice that you don't say anything. And you don't talk to them for like a week. And then they come out and they say, I'm free this afternoon. Meanwhile, you're at work. Okay? And so you're not on your phone because you're not supposed to be on your phone at work. Right? So, after work, I get on my phone and I see this message. And I try to respond. And guess what happens? It says, oh, your snaps are pending until this person adds you as a friend. Did I do something? Did I do something wrong here? When I'm the one that's trying to make plans with you, and you tell me that you're going to deal with me later because you don't want to go out with your friends all pissed off because I've brought it up and I've said, hey, look, you're kind of treating me like shit here. And then out of nowhere, they're like, oh, I will deal with you. And then the one time that they're free and you don't respond in 3 hours, right? You don't respond. They block you. Makes perfect sense, right? Right, so this other kid, I was probably like 19 when we started talking. He's a year younger than me, so he's 18. We're talking for about 2 months, right? And he says, oh, I don't want to rush into anything. And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, well, I'm going on a date this weekend and I've been talking to this guy for 2 years. And it's the first time that I'm meeting him. And I said, 2 years? Right, I'm not waiting around for 2 years to meet someone. Right? He comes back and he says, well, I'm not going to meet up with someone that soon. It's been 2 fucking months, mate. Like, I kind of backed off and I stopped talking to him for a bit. And then it's kind of been this on again, off again kind of conversation thing, right? And I'm almost 24. Almost 24. Still haven't met him. And he says to me, he's like, oh, we should hang out, we should do something. And every time I say, oh, well, I'm in your area, because he's a 2-hour drive away from me. So every time that I happen to be passing through his area, I say, oh, do you want to grab something to eat? Do you want to grab some coffee while I'm on my way? And then he starts ghosting me. anytime that I say anything about meeting up or anything, complete silence. So then we get to the point where I bring it up and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. I really have an interest in you. I really like you. And I'm like, mate, I have offered to drive to you. I have offered to stop on my way of this like 6-hour long drive that I have to make to hang out with you for like a half an hour. And you won't do it? So recently, I stopped that snap streak as well. Eventually starts snapping me, asking me things, and I eventually responded and I said, why are you still bothering? And he goes, what do you mean? And I say, look, I tell you I'm not doing well. I tell you I'm not feeling great. And you just say, okay, and you leave. I tell you I'm in your area. I say, do you want to hang out? You don't respond for days. You read it, but you didn't respond. And there's always some sort of excuse like, oh, I was moving. Oh, I was stressed. Oh, my mom and I were going out for errands. Like, okay, but you weren't going out for errands 3 days straight, okay? And when I brought this up to him, all he kept responding with was, okay, yeah, okay. So why fucking put up with that? So, I guess my question for all of you right now is to think, are you just a snap streak? Or are you a friend? And if you are just a snap streak, are you okay with that? Is it worth your time? Is it worth having someone in your life that doesn't give a flying fuck about anything that you have to say or anything that you do in your life? Is it worth just being a snap streak? So, are you a friend or are you a snap streak?
Thanks for watching. Go down now and push that subscribe button. Turn the notifications on, and I'll see